Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leisha Jackson from FM Systems, and I want to thank you for attending today's webinar, Powerful New Business Intelligence Tools to Help You Better Analyze Your Facilities Performance. Before we begin, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your console, there are multiple widgets you can use. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can click on the Q&A widget at the bottom and submit your question. We will answer these at the end, but if we don't get to all of the questions, we will follow up with you after the webinar is over. You can expand your slide area by clicking on the Maximize icon on the top right-hand corner or by dragging the bottom right-hand corner of the slide area. An on-demand version will be available about 1 hour after the webinar ends and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you earlier. Today on the line, we have Audrey Hum, our Applications Engineer. And with that being said, Audrey, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Leisha. So today we're going to dive into our new FMx reporting tool. Just kind of getting an overview. I know everyone's excited to get in and learn about the reporting tool. So what is FMx reporting? FMx reporting is our fully integrated business intelligence tool that provides end users with a complete control over the reporting and analysis of their facility data. What does that really mean? It's going to allow our non-technical users the ability to create and run reports from directly within FM Interact without any IT support. Also, it's going to allow our more advanced administrators and power users to truly take advantage of the complete set of advanced features and all of our users to better analyze their facilities' performance. Again, all that being directly within FM Interact and directly from your browser. What we're looking at here is going to be that screenshot of the browser view, looking at the ability to create and modify reports directly in the browser, not having to go outside and publish the reports to the system anymore, and also that ability to utilize your existing database to create reports, also creating reports across various tables. Another feature that we're demonstrating today is our expanded formatting and graph and charting functionality. Looking here, we have a variety of charts and graphs. So creating reports on the fly within the report designer and also being able to utilize that data within those bar charts, pie graphs, line charts, also 3D views being available for more analytical view into the data. Also being exciting here, that formatting functionality. Being able to clone your reports, quickly and easily create a similar report and apply data, even standard themes across your reports. And of course, our dashboard functionality, being able to use those FMx reports and put them into your dashboards within FM Interact. A few other points here are automated report scheduler. So our reports can be scheduled and delivered to end users via email in a variety of formats. All of your parameters such as time periods, recurrence, and recipients can be set in the report scheduler. Also expanded permissionable settings. So we can expand our report security, also being able to determine which reports, tables, and even specific fields can be seen by our reporting groups. So really expanding those permissioning settings within the reporting tool. Also expanding that report settings to personal and global reports. So I can create a report for myself, or I can even promote it to be a global report. So with that being said, we're going to jump into a demonstration. What we're going to be looking at today is how to create reports within the browser. Again, this is that drag and drop functionality. The first thing we're going to do today is we're going to jump into the report management, and we're just going to create a basic report. To sign in here as an advanced user, again, remembering that I would have the option to see different information if I logged in as another user. I'm going to go into my report management, and I'm just going to create a basic report. It's going to be an employee list. Seeing here, we have the options to do express reports, standard reports, or potentially a more advanced report. So here I'm going to create an employee list. I'm just going to walk us through some of that functionality that's available to us and really demonstrate how easy it is to move across the report designer. Seeing here that ability to add different tables, even add a sort order here. I'm going to put a filter here because I want everyone that is in my list to have an email address. And here I'm just going to do my first name, I want to see a last name, and I want to see an email address. All that is dragging, dropping into the report designer. And when I click Finish, I can come here and play my report. There we have it, first name, last name, email. I could change the sort order from here, export it, or print it. And that's all I have to do to create a simple report within the report designer. Now we're going to come in and we're going to clone an existing report. So I'm just going to clone this one here, my room list. I'm going to save it as a vacancy analysis report. We see here all I'm doing is cloning. I'm just going to change the code and save it as a vacancy analysis report. I'm going to go back into the designer. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run this report so you all can see what it looks like beforehand. What we're going to see here as soon as I open this up and click Run is that we have a pretty basic report. We just have our spaces, our space types, capacity, and occupancy. So I'm going to go back into the designer, and I'm going to add vacant spaces. I'm also going to go back in, and I'm going to add a report footer. I'm going to add a group footer as well. And what this is allowing me to do is actually to group and total information at the bottom of my report. So I'm just adding these sections pretty simply, clicking here at the bottom of my report. I'm just going to copy and paste some of my information through here. Again, we're seeing that I can move very similarly, kind of like in Excel, just copying and pasting. I can even type directly in here. Very simple to work through, and very simple to even drag and drop information throughout the designer. I can even add formulas. So I'm going to go into one of my other columns here, that vacant spaces. And I'm going to add a formula for capacity minus occupancy to kind of get my total number of vacant spaces. Again, these are all things that would be accessible to a user if they had access to the system. And then we're going to take a look at what this looks like once I go push it through again. All I'm doing now is I'm typing the aggregate sum of the total above me. And what that's going to do is it's going to total up for all of my footers how many vacant spaces I have. The formula editor can walk you through these as well if you're a more basic user. And now I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to see how many I have. You'll see we have a number of vacant spaces, and if I go through, it'll total them up for me. We can also go through and we can do some formatting. So I can merge cells across. I can center items through, a very intuitive kind of walkthrough here. I can also make things bold. This is kind of touching on that formatting item. Maybe all of these totals, I kind of want to make them all green potentially down here. Again, all these items are available to you and could be used across your reporting to make it a little bit more intuitive. We could change our title here by typing in now that we've kind of got the basic information in our report, I'm going to move forward and I'm going to add a filter. So I'm going to go through to my filters. I'm going to choose my space inventory table. And I'm going to filter by space type. So I want to look at my options here. And what we're going to see once I get into my filter options is that I can have multiple different things. I can say it's equal to, one of, but I want to have either it be an office or I want it to be a workstation. And again, it's pulling from your database here, so you're going to have some guidance in choosing these filters. Once I click OK here, kind of choosing here, I want one of my, like I said, office, workstation, because I want to filter down to a certain type. I'm going to choose my 3, click OK. Then I'll go ahead and wait a moment, kind of check out my report, and click OK. And we'll notice that I have some less spaces. I can zoom over to the end of my report once I have it up, and come back in, and we'll see that I have less information. I can here go to the end of my report, and I can see how many total I have. Again, kind of looking at everything, seeing if there's anything I might want to change. We can look at our general options, and maybe I want to add a different type of filter. Now these filters are HTML filters, so I can actually come in here, and these are filters that can be modified within the report viewer. I'm just going to come in and I'm going to add space type, because I want to be able to choose from those space types I just added. Maybe say I only want to see my workstations. And again, I'm going to add that. I'm going to come back in now and say I only want to see vacant spaces. Again, not all of these are necessary, but we can add them and modify them as we go. And now if I click play, we'll see that I'm only going to see my vacant spaces. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to move forward and we're going to add a chart. So I'm going to come back in, and I am going to select my top report header row, and I'm going to select my chart tool. Again, you're seeing here that I can have different types of charts. I'm going to choose my values here. Kind of choosing where they go. Adding some more detail. Giving my titles. Now I can get a preview. I can choose the size. And here we have a chart based on our vacancy analysis. And I'm highlighting over. I'm getting some more information about each of those. I can change the size. And here we have a vacancy analysis report. So kind of doing all of that, maybe 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, having a report on all of your vacant spaces, totaling up all of your information, being able to see a drill down by building. Very intuitive tool. Again, this can go across all of your modules, being able to report within move management, combining space and move, combining maintenance information, and then of course being able, what I like a lot too, is being able to come in here to your report and change that chart type as well. It's all very dynamic. So we can change that on the fly to see the type of chart. We can change it to a pie chart. We can promote these to be global. So a lot of functionality is available there right within the report builder. And kind of just demonstrating there with a little bit of lag what I was showing about changing the report type. All right. And I wanted to save some time for questions here at the end, since we've kind of come to the end of building through our entire report. Do we have any questions coming through in the Q&A?
It does not look like we actually have any questions right now. And again, there is a little Q&A widget at the bottom of your screen. It's a little purple. It says Q&A. You can just click on that and type in your question.
And I'll just kind of run through for you all some of the different report options. Again, here we have a departmental occupancy report. Basically, here we have some different reporting options. These filters on the side are some of those ones that I had built out. You could filter, oh, gone. I'll come back. So here we have the ability to filter out, by a city, and you could combine multiple together. And these are things that you can expose, and then you can view the data in different ways. So I'm seeing the type of department combining with how many, their allocation here together. And you can combine multiple charts together. They're also interactive, so I can pop these out here. When I click on the department on the right, it's showing me what its allocation is here. I could also zoom here to the back. I can do averages. I can do totals. I can do that combined together. So you can do multiple calculations in the same report. We're also seeing conditional formatting here. So anytime our allocation for the department was less than the average, I've done that as a conditional formatting. So just a few other features to kind of highlight here. See, now we've got some questions. Can this be correlated to the floor plans? So this will be tied in to all of your floor plan data. And Richard, if you have some more specific questions to that, maybe shoot us another question there. Carrie, we will be sending out the link to the recorded webcast. Alicia, do you have a specific time frame for that?
Yes, we will actually be sending that out tomorrow. So expect that in your inbox around tomorrow morning to afternoon.
Okay. David, our question here was, it seems like a powerful tool. However, for the non-technical basic users that wish to create a report without IT support, what tools are available to make creating a report easy? So walking through that, really to make it easy, we have the Express Report Designer. You can come in, create a report code. We'll just say 1, 2, test. And the idea here is that they don't have to go through all of that drag and drop process in that Excel-based format. They have access to all of the tables. And the idea here is that they just have to drag and drop the fields they want. And it's smart in knowing that our employee in space table doesn't talk to, for example, intranet documents. So they can only drag and drop tables that are going to talk to each other, and they are just pulling in here, okay, I want employee name, the group they're in, their title, etc. So it's really just going to walk them through the process of creating this report, and then they can drag and drop their fields, etc. And this is all they have to do. It doesn't have to be an elaborate report. Hope that kind of answers your question. Is this available in the 8.5 release? Sorry, I missed the first 5 minutes. Steve, yes, this will be available in 8.5 release. So when we ship that, I believe it'll be mid-July at this point, it will be available. Down here. Can you add pull-down menus to reports so a user could pick from a list, so data such as certain buildings? Probably talking about like a drill down there, and that is something we could do. So basically, if I come down into the vacancy analysis report we were just working on, I could add something we call kind of a drill down here. So in the buildings, I could do collapse rows, and instead there, these would kind of be collapsed so that they could pick from the building they wanted and kind of collapse the data out.
And also, if the filters are shown in the report viewer through FM Interact, you can do a multiple selection and have that as a predefined filter. So you can actually, it's the same as kind of the legacy type filters where you can do one or many out of the list of, say, buildings.
Right. So here we could add, the building description, building code, and they could choose that. Okay. Does the reporting feature have the ability to be automatically generated and emailed out to staff? Yes, that is going to be a feature of the report scheduler. So you can automatically schedule reports. Sorry, I'm reading through the questions. Is this going to replace the out-of-the-box standard reports? Looks like this has already been answered. Sorry. But for everyone's information, it's going to run alongside the box, the outside reports. So it'll be a supplement.
Audrey, as you're reading through the questions, right? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I just saw
some of
one
these other
coming.
ones I'm reading through that are okay.
There is one I can answer as you're. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was going to answer the one about the. No, you're fine. I see some questions asking about if training classes are going to be available. And yes, over the next few days, we're actually going to be posting new training classes for the next few months. And the individual who's in charge of our training, he's been working on getting some stuff together for the new FMX reporting. So, Laura, I will reach out to you with the link to that training class when we have it.
And there's a question on writing SQL queries to write Express reports. A little bit more, the Express reports are going to be a little bit more of that drag and drop, but you can involve some of that in writing your filters. So that could be a little bit more on the filter side. Okay. Any more questions coming in that we would not be answering outside of? Any other questions that did come in, just to clarify, we will answer after the webinar to you directly.
So, Andre, I do see a couple more around just the deployment and more of the IT side. So it looks like somebody had asked, does IT need to be involved for this setup? And the answer is really not any more than they would be with just regular FM Interact. It is part of the installation, part of the system. It does not require, an additional server, kind of like the traditional SSRS. So it is built directly into our code. And then the other is, will it work with SQL 2008 R2? John, yes, I believe it will. It is just, it's written to the database, so there's really no limitations on, as far as the version of SQL.
Great. Well, there has been a lot of questions that have come through. So what we'll do is we can follow up with some of the additional questions. We'll follow up with you directly afterwards to make sure we get everything answered. But I do want to give everyone a few minutes back in their day. And I do appreciate, Audrey, thank you so much for putting on this great webinar showing off the new FMX reporting. And thank you to everyone who took some time out of your day to attend. I hope you found this a beneficial webinar, and as always, please feel free to reach out to us afterwards with any additional questions. And keep an eye out over the next, tomorrow afternoon time frame, and we'll be sending out the link to the recording that you can watch again or you can pass along to your colleagues. So we'll stay in line for just a few more minutes, but I appreciate, thank you everyone, and I hope everyone has a great day.